You probably clicked this video because you're wondering how to charge as a beginner photographer, but there's so many different layers of beginner photographer. So I'm gonna talk about the 3 main layers that I think you're gonna be probably one of them, the best way to charge for each one, and let's get started right now. Before we get started, I want your participation in something, okay? Hit the like button below if you are a photographer that is afraid to charge because you're not there yet. And once you get there, you're gonna charge. But you have no idea where there is and when you're gonna get to this there position. Hit like if you're a photographer that is saying, well, I can't yet charge because everybody else I know, everybody in my community. See, my city is different. In my city, everyone shoots for free. Hit like if you're a photographer that actually doesn't know how to charge. Where do you start? How do you charge? How much should you charge for? What should you charge for? And hit like if you are a photographer that likes to lie to yourself and say, well, you know what? I really enjoy taking pictures anyway, so I don't want to charge for something I enjoy, so that's just ridiculous. I'm gonna be okay like this, and then maybe one day I'll charge. So let's get started. But before we really go dive into this, I need you to understand that you deserve compensation. Not because I'm just trying to get every photographer out there to get money, I am, but also because you're a human being and because you're an artist and because you have a super valuable skill. Now remember, people are getting paid for everything you can imagine. You also deserve compensation because you're a human being, because you're an artist, because you provide something so valuable to society. Let me go ahead and quickly remind you about your value and the impact that you leave on society. Photographers, we help people with their LinkedIn. We help them get pictures that help present themselves better so they get the promotion, move to a different company. We do record covers and we do world tour posters, and they can't even launch a world tour without one of our images. And they can't sell you a record. It won't stand out on iTunes. It won't stand out on Spotify without pictures. You can't really sell a book, maybe a few people can, but you really can't sell a book without a beautiful photo of the author that makes them relatable. Or a public speaking event, you cannot sell food. You cannot advertise your food unless you have beautiful photos to take pictures of that food. I can go on and on and on, but you understand that no industry is going to thrive without doing what we do. Now, you might be one of the 3 different types of photographers that I label as a beginner photographer. So number 1 is the too scared to charge photographer. Number 2 is the I'm almost ready to charge photographer. And then the 3rd type, charging, but I don't know if I'm doing it the right way photographer, which I think is a majority of beginner photographers. That's the longest chapter that you stay in. That's the one that causes the most uncertainty. And that's the chapter that sinks you faster if you don't know how to navigate towards that or through that. So let's get started, and I'll tell you how you can navigate out of each one and get to the next level. If you are the first type, the too scared to charge photographer, you got a whole lot of prepping to do. You got prepping for yourself, for the community in the marketplace, for the universe. And when I say the universe, I'm not saying what you should believe in as a faith or religion. It's just this greater energy that moves and for all people. So there's 3 bodies that you're gonna have to impress, and you're gonna have to prep that you are now no longer the free photographer. You are the photographer that is going to charge, who's going to be treated with respect, who's going to be fairly compensated. Once you start charging, you've now spoken to all 3 entities, and you have said, bring me more things like this. Don't bring me anything that I had in the past. So the first step, and I think that this should last you 1 month, 2 months maximum, but I really think you should aim at 1 month. For 1 month, if you are afraid to charge and you're a new photographer and you've never even really charged before, you have to establish to the marketplace that you are no longer the freebie, that you are no longer the little sampler, that like the samples that they have at Costco. You're no longer that. You are an artist, and you are telling the marketplace that you have value and that they're gonna have to start putting out some money for that. But the fastest way for you to do this, to prep yourself for that uncomfortable conversation and prep the universe, is by charging just cost. This might make some people freak out, but I think 30 days of this, 40, 45, charge for cost. So here's an example of that. Now, let's say I want you to photograph some headshots for me for my blog. You're like, oh my God, I want to photograph Walid, and I think that this will help me, and it's going to be great for my portfolio. I don't know how to do this. I have anxiety. I have a knot in my stomach. I don't know if I'm too good to charge. So you don't charge, and you don't start, and you get stuck in Foreverville. So let's break that, and let's not ask for anything that is outside of your comfort zone. Let's not ask for anything that is majorly outside of your comfort zone. Let's actually make it very small. Just dip your toe in the pond and just say, okay, I would love to photograph you, but I'm newer and I'm trying to build out my portfolio. It's okay to be honest with them and say, I would really love to have you in my portfolio. I'd really love the experience of it. I want to just charge you cost. And cost is every dollar, every cent that goes out of your pocket to make sure that this shoot is produced and provided for the client. I'm not charging you for my fee. I'm not charging you for my editing. I'm just charging you for the things that I've had to pay out of pocket to make sure that this happens. The second stage are the photographers that want to charge and they're almost ready to charge, but they haven't yet charged. And for you guys, I want you to employ something that has been in practice, has been in play around the world for centuries. It's probably the first form of commerce, and that's called bartering. With bartering, it's a trade. Trade dollar for dollar value. And the bartering stage is going to be phase 2. That's by the end of your month 2, or hopefully even the start of month 2. And it's going to be about 2 months, 3 months total. This is going to get you to the next level. Now we're going to take that and we're going to raise that value. So now we're going to charge what you think you should be charged, but you still might be a little bit afraid to ask for money. Bartering is dollar for dollar trade. It is not what they think you're worth. It is what you want to charge, but you're not there yet. You may not be brave enough to do that yet. You might still get tripped up on your words and you might have anxiety and your heart just starts beating a lot. So we're gonna barter. And you're not going to ask for money, but you're gonna ask for your value. Now, let's say you are going to photograph for a new restaurant. Those are 2 things that you need for your business. And you're gonna look at it and say, hey, I can give you the best pictures, but I would love to work with you on barter. And barter can be 100% of the value, or you can say, let's barter 50% and let's get money, actual cash, the other 50%, or whatever ratio you think is the best for you. So you can start with 100% barter. Now imagine I'm opening a new restaurant and you're gonna say, I would ordinarily charge you $3,500 for 10 items on your menu to be photographed. If I'm opening a new restaurant, $3,500 is kind of a lot of money for me. I don't have revenue coming in yet. The restaurant is going to owe you $3,500 off of the menu, and that's going to go to you. You can use that in one session, or you can use that in 10 or 20 different sessions. Here's how that helps you as a photographer. Maybe you want to take somebody out on a date. Maybe you want to go treat yourself, or maybe you want to use that restaurant as a base to meet future potential clients. $3,500 is fair. You were going to get paid $3,500. They were going to get paid $3,500 if you came in as a customer. It is a fair barter. You are not charging for your wholesale costs. You're not charging for just the gas and your coffee and the camera lens rental and anything else you might have purchased or rented for the shoot. You are charging for what you would want out of them out of money. But since you're not there yet, you're going to say, let's trade. And this is so powerful because you can get legal services this way. You can get accounting services this way. You can get restaurant access. You can get hotel fees. You can get Airbnbs. You can get so much just from bartering. Now, before we go to the stage that I want you to live in for a little bit, let's talk about more help for you as a photographer if you need help with pricing. I have a course that is photography pricing. It's only that. It is pricing for photographers, not pricing in general. It is for photographers by a photographer who has done what you want to do over and over and over for year after year after year. This is something that you really should invest in. And I've made it something that is so affordable that your first hour of your first client should pay for it. It's like the cost of 1 or 2 tanks of gas, depending what kind of car you've got. That link is in the description. Now let's go into number 3, the third type of photographer that you are. This is a stage that you want to live in for a little bit. This is a stage that's going to be really, really profitable for you as a beginner photographer. That photographer that is charging, but you're not sure if you're doing it the right way. And you wonder, okay, what am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anything? What is the right way? Am I making the most amount of money that I could be making? Let's go over a brief checklist. And that brief checklist is right here. So number 1, are you accounting for everything? Are you accounting for pre-production, production, and post-production? So how many hours are you actually working? Factor everything out. Write it on a piece of paper. That includes the emails, that includes the phone calls, that includes the brainstorming, and that includes making the mood board and hiring people and looking for locations and the correspondence back and forth. It's probably 10 or 12 hours easily. The last album cover shoot that I did, it was 2 weeks of pre-production. I'm billing for that. And the record label has agreed to pay for all of that. That's probably about 80 hours that I can bill for as just pre-production. I haven't even touched the camera yet. That includes working with hair and makeup, making sure that I negotiate multiple studios, making sure that I negotiate with a record label. I'm charging them for that too. Making sure that I hire my PAs, making sure that I make a list and my mood board and my shot list, and talking to the stylist and going to the designer showroom and sitting there and taking pictures with my iPhone as the recording artist is trying different outfits and then putting that there. That includes all the correspondence with the management and everything that you can imagine. I'm not billing by the hour, but I'm keeping account in my head of how many hours I've worked. I need to get paid for that. I need to bill for that. And that's how you know if you're doing it the right way. You have to write everything down and say, oh my gosh, I charged for 10 hours, but I really worked 45 hours. No, you just stole 30 hours, 35 hours from what you should be getting paid. So make that list. Then you are charging for production. And production fee would be you as a creative, as a person that's working on set for 4 hours, 8 hours, 12, 16 hours. You also are charging for everything that's a hard cost. Studio rentals, car, permits, locations, you name it. Food for your crew, coffee, everything. And then you're also charging for post-production right here. So you have pre-production, production, and then you have post-production right there. Post-production means all the hours that you are organizing the photos in Lightroom or Capture One, and that you are starring them and saying 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. Post-production means all the post-processing hours of coloring and retouching the skin and everything, and then uploading it to a gallery, and then sending the gallery link and password to the clients. All of that is post-production. Putting your gear away is post-production. Spending a full day backing up your hard drive and then backing up with that hard drive is post-production. So those are 3 major components that you should be doing an audit and saying, how many hours total am I spending? Then you know if you're charging the right amount. If you are charging for production fee, you're doing a great job and you're doing better than most, and your clients expect to pay it once you explain what that is. If this video helped you out and you want to learn more about having a successful photography business, watch this video next. I made that because it's 5 photography career killers that I want you to avoid. If you like this channel, please click subscribe. If you have questions for me, comment. And if you appreciate this, please hit the like, and I'll see you in the next video. Check this out. All right, my name is Walid Azami. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.